Virgin Radio 104.4. I was out at an event the other night, and a mammoth of a human came over to me, and I got worried for a moment. And I was so happy then when I got to meet him, because I've been wanting to meet him for so long, and I've followed your journey, and I think you're an inspirational man. I think you're a great man. Rossi, you'll like this. He's got a lot of followers on social media. If you've got a lot of followers on social media, Rossi wants to be your friend.
I'm not happy that you've brought him in, because I feel inferior and ugly.
Please welcome Calum Von Moger into the studio right here.
Thank you, guys. Thank you so much.
Legend, man. First of all, Mr. Universe. Can we start there?
Yeah. So Mr. Universe. I won the. I was 21 years old. I won the Junior Mr. Universe first in Austria. I met a promoter in Melbourne, Graham Lansfield. He'd run the WFF Nabis Federation. And it started on the beach, to be honest, in Anglesey. I was doing the bronze medallion, the nippers. And I was pretty ripped and, going to the gym.
How old were you then?
I was about 19.
Okay, 19. So you're just running on the beach, doing what you're doing at the age of 19, and some guy comes up to you.
Some guy saw me, hey, you should come to the gym, you should meet this guy. He's kind of a scout in a sense. Anyway, his name is Simon. Went to the gym, met Graham. He runs a federation. He goes, you look great. Take your shirt off. Blah, blah, blah. Let's have a look at your legs.
At any point were you thinking this was weird? Or you were like...
at one point I was like... But then when I walked in his office, I just saw trophies and all this memorabilia of all of his shows. I was like, okay, this guy looks pretty legit.
Right.
Okay.
All right. I'll give you the rundown. And he had a look. Okay, he goes, all right, you got 3 weeks. If you win my show, you qualify for the Mr. Universe. I'll fly you over to Austria. And for me... Coming from the country, the surf coast, having $0 in my bank account, I was like free flight to overseas to compete, doing something I love.
I'll take it.
100% took it as serious as a heart attack. Went in, very dedicated, got in the best condition I could possibly in shape. Long story short, won that show, and then 2 or 3 other Mr. Universe titles after that as well.
But hold on, how long you won that show? How often were you, what was the training schedule between you saying, I want to go to Austria with you? Yeah. How long was that?
Yeah, so that was, it was basically March was when I got the offer, yeah. And then he goes, my show's in May. You got my qualifiers in May, and then you go to the Mr. Universe in June.
That's not a lot of time.
No, I was in good, decent shape already. But it was the diet was, 4 weeks. You can cut out some burgers and stuff and get into it. But
so you've been gifted with a physique, and obviously that's what the guy saw. Alex, I think you saw you at the beach. You saw this guy who's 6 foot something. Yeah. You're proportional. You've got all these you got the body proportion. Is that what it is?
Yeah, good, exactly, and good. I guess just talent or good genetic as well. Like obviously my parents being from Dutch, half German and stuff. So. That definitely came into a big play of it as well. Having the foundation was already kind of half.
And if you've never seen Calum, he does resemble Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Yeah.
2.0, yeah.
And we know that because you actually played him in a film.
In the film, bigger, that's right. Yes.
Now, when did you know that you had the resemblance to Arnold?
It was after I looked up to Arnold for, all of my teenage,
like many of us did.
All of us, right?
Terminator, Total Recall, the movies, we loved him.
Crushed it, right?
Yeah.
Kindergarten Cop.
Kindergarten Cop, yeah.
Pretty.
That was my favorite Arnold film.
Jingle all the way.
Yeah. Just saying.
So I looked up to Arnold, and it was when a YouTube video, it was actually the first YouTube video I'd ever made. It went viral, and people would... All the comments were like, it's Arnold 2.0. He looks like Arnold lookalike. And they were saying, you've got to play him in a movie one day. You've got to do it. It'd be rude not to, really. You just look exactly like him and so on and so forth. So I got coined as Arnold 2.0 my young 20s.
Yeah.
And then after that, it wasn't about... Within about 5 years, I got approached by a producer in Hollywood, Steve Jones, and he's like, we're looking for an Arnold lookalike. I'm making a movie. We need him. We need a jacked Australian, whatever bodybuilder to look like him.
Austrian, Australian, confusing. Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, we'll work with it.
Yeah.
We'll work the Aussie, whatever.
So you had to learn the accent?
I had a voice coach.
And he did it. You still remember it?
Yeah. Can we hear it a little?
No, pretty. Get out of here. It's not a tumor.
No, but in the movie, you did a good job. How long did you have to How long did it take to learn his voice?
Oh, I did the voice classes for about at least I think about 6-8 weeks leading up to it. But I was traveling, I was doing work, I was doing events. So I'd be in the hotel room on a Zoom call with my coach back in Santa Monica, and she'd be, all right, let's go over the script and all this sort of stuff.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
So can I ask you? Voice coach. Does she know how to do Arnold's voice? Like, does the voice coach need to know how to do
That's a good
the
question.
voice? Like, is she like, she's a female? She's
yeah.
like, come on, get out here.
Exactly. So she obviously analyzes the voice, and
Okay.
she'd listen, like, you have to speak with the back of your tongue. You have to drop the tongue and raise it at the top. And Aussies like to lift at the very end, and you have to drop at the very end like this. So she'd just tell me the different tones, and I was like, well, can you do it? And she just like this. It sounded funny.
That's
Couldn't
really
make sense
cool.
of it.
When we met, well, the one thing that I love about you, man, and I was watching you from afar, you're a good guy.
Thank you.
He's approachable. Like, you get that energy
yes,
from him.
for
It's-
sure.
Yeah,
Yeah,
100%,
kind.
yeah.
You know, because, we get to meet a lot of people in our industry, and, sometimes when people get a million followers on Instagram, all of a sudden they become like,
Not approachable.
I'm a big deal, don't talk to me. But on that night where there are a lot of quote unquote celebrities, you're just a good guy, and that's I like the energy that we get from you, man.
Yeah,
So thank
true.
you for being just cool. Let's get real. Let's talk some real stuff right now. You were at the peak of your somewhat career. You're doing the movies, you were training, you were jacked, and then you got an injury.
Yes.
Was the injury the first one? Was it the shoulder? Bicep?
Yeah, bicep tear with Kris Bumstead.
I saw that one. You were doing some lifting
He
challenge.
sabotaged my whole career, mate.
So what was it like?
Well, it was so we're doing a tandem. It was like a 400 pound, which is like almost a 200 kilo. I mean, it sounds ridiculous, but I'd done it previously with other bodybuilders, and I had been. And it wasn't an idea that I'd come up with first. I'd seen it in a magazine with Kevin Levrone and Gunther Schierklamp, who's another German, two massive Mr. Olympians.
Okay.
And there was a picture of them curling the 400 pounds. Anyway, so I was like, oh, shit, I can do this. I'll try it with my buddy. And I pulled it off, previously, right? And then Kris Bumstead, and I was, this was before he really eclipsed the game, right?
Sure.
Before he really, really took off. And he was in Gold's Gym, and we just decided, hey, come, we have a workout.
Gold's Gym where?
Gold's Gym Venice.
You were there,
Mecca.
the OG one,
Yeah,
right?
the Mecca, mate. The home of bodybuilding.
Can I ask, when
when
you walked into Gold's Gym for the first time on Venice Beach, which I've been into,
Yeah.
you walking in looking like Arnold somewhat, were people freaking out?
I mean,
Because that's his gym. Like, that's his...
I think he walked in once and freaked out.
Oh, he saw you.
Because he saw you.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
What was that? What was that like when Arnold walks in and sees you?
Yeah, I mean, it's obviously I'm kind of fanboying a little bit,
Of course.
and I don't do that with many people. But I've come on, we look at Arnold our whole
Arnold,
childhood.
man.
It's Arnold. You can't
Yeah.
help but a little bit get a bit
Yeah.
of starstruck, and but yeah, I was training, and it wasn't actually, he's a hard nut to crack. He's the Terminator.
Yeah.
But I had the girl that I was dating at the time, Karina. She actually went over and asked him. It's like, hey, my boyfriend looks up to you, blah blah blah. Could you do some posing or something? So and it was really nice. He came out. He goes, show me some poses. Let's have a look. Gave me some critique, some feedback, which was really awesome. It was a highlight for me for sure.
You the same height? Are you tall? I reckon you're taller.
I
You
reckon
look
I might have got him a little. He puts his hair up, so it looks tall. But I think
The
I
secret
might
of the
have
trade.
had him.
That's
I think I
crazy.
had him.
All right, so you're at Venice Beach. You're doing this curl, and
Yep.
then as you guys lift, you tore your bicep.
Yeah, on the negative going down. I think I was just straining it, and it just popped off the tendon. popped
Now,
off
for
the
anyone
bone.
else, if you were to tear your bicep, okay, it's a horrible injury. You've got to repair it. You go through with it. But with what you were doing, it's your profession. It's your life. It's your
Yeah,
livelihood. It's everything that you do.
exactly, yeah.
And it's like you're an athlete. You may not be running 100 meters, but you've torn your muscle that you can't run that 100 meters
This
anymore.
is the investment. I've invested everything into my body
Yeah.
and my time and all of that. So when your investment is in jeopardy, it's a big head trip for sure. It's a significant injury. The first question you ask yourself is, when am I going to be able to train again? That's the first thing. It's like, when can I get back to doing? Because I've got to get back. In our minds, we already feel we're behind. Because it's all we're training. We're trying to get to a point, and then something like this terrible injury. All of a sudden, you're like miles below. So the first thing I ask, how long is this going to take? You go get the MRI, you get the surgery, and then start physical therapy. And I actually did physical therapy at Elite Orthosport in Wilshire Boulevard in near Hollywood, which was Arnold's spouse, Heather Milligan. She actually ran the whole clinic. So they looked. Arnold would sometimes come in with his dog, and you go, I'll get up here, put the kid down.
That's amazing.
Wow.
You got Arnold's wife?
His spouse. Yeah,
Spouse or partner or whatever.
Something,
looking after you.
Yeah,
That's
so
crazy.
She'd call him, you want to say hi to Arnold? Or like, a little bit shy, blushing. But yeah,
A younger, more attractive Arnold there with the spouse.
he's probably thinking, who's this?
Yeah.
What's this stud doing with my girl?
So you're getting. So how long did that take?
Yeah, so it was a good. So when did it's about 6 months for a soft tissue, but I was in physical therapy from the beginning of taught in November, started physical therapy January, February, March, and then April. 3 months in, and then it was just coming good. And then I decided to go rock climbing with my older brothers, who were like, ex-commando military, trained, seasoned warriors in this field. Me thinking, being the younger brother, whatever they can do, I can do too. Being, probably stubborn and thinking I can do, feeling invincible, decided to do the rock climbing and completely messed up my knee. I fell back and I tore my quadricep, my right quad off the bone.
Now there's footage of this, and it looks absolutely horrible.
It's horrific. I've got PTSD from heights and all that stuff.
Mate, where was that?
It was in Sydney.
It was.
It's
the Gap. You're at the Gap. I know where you were. It's in suburbs. So you he's leaning back.
I don't want to know.
But anyway, so that fall, thankfully that you were harnessed right, that your brothers did a good job with making sure, because you could have dropped.
Finished.
And that would have been, we wouldn't be doing this interview. Instead, you re-tear the bicep that you just spent months trying to get better.
Yep.
You tear your
quadricep, so quad tear, which is a huge muscle to blow off the bone, and in the process, retore the bicep. So I tore both, retort, because I tried to grab the rope to catch myself. And
so then your brothers are pulling you
up a
cliff, horrific. So then you're back in a hospital, you're back in a surgery, you're back into doing all this.
Same process. Yeah.
Let's talk about the mental health side of things, because for anyone, that would bring in the onset of depression.
Yep.
Did you hit it?
Yeah, I guess, and I would have to a degree back then for sure, but it was something that I could wrap my head around, and that I felt, this is going to suck. I'm not going to... you go through those questions. Am I going to be able to do the same things, look the same? Is it going to heal? But at least with a physical injury, you have doctors and you have a timeline. It's like, okay, it's a soft tissue. You're going to look at 6-8 months, and then the body heals. There's a timeline. The body eventually heals, and then you can go back to doing what you're doing. On the mental side of things, it's like when you're going through it, it's like, well, when am I going to... Your doctor can't tell you, you'll be fine in 3 weeks, a month. You don't know. So... that was definitely the beginning of those, those mental battles, like overcoming, the thought and the worry and the fear of, I'm not going to be able to perform. I'm not, and obviously being on social media and having an audience and people looking up to you, you have this pressure that you've put on yourself that you have to look a certain way, or that you've got these labels, Calum from like a bodybuilder, model, actor. And they see you looking this way all the time. They come and they feed and they subscribe to your channels because of what, the content that you put out and how you appear to them. And when all of a sudden the guy
that they follow and they
look up to is looking like a half-sucked mango.
Yeah.
And they're going, you're done,
on?
You're finished, all the comments. And that's when it was first. I was like, so here we go. We find out who the real supporters are. And then you got a lot of different aid. And then you find out there's at the start, all the is all mostly positive, and then you go through something, you know, hard, and then you realize, oh, you got some adversaries, you got some challenges. So for me, I kind of used that as fuel for my mental health. I was like, okay, let's see what I can do. I've had this setback. It sucks, but let's turn this around. Let's see how I can, you know, prove these people wrong and prove myself that I can overcome this and get through. So I made a pretty good comeback. That was the first comeback, and it was good. I managed to, rehabilitate myself, heal. Took all the steps, very serious, all the recovery, everything. They made a Generation Iron is a fitness network. They made a documentary kind of based around that called Unbroken.
Yeah, which I've watched. Which is
have you?
Yeah. That's how I came across. That's how I came across you actually.
Right. Okay.
It wasn't social media. It was that. I don't know how I came across it. I started watching this guy, and I just thought this guy's cool. I honestly, when I started watching, I was like, this guy's cool. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
so when I saw you at the fight the other night, I was like, hey, he's there.
That's him. That's the guy.
There. And then we shook hands, and I was like, he's a good dude as well.
Thanks.
So they shot a whole documentary on this come up, basically.
The comeback. And then, so I got to a point, and then that was about 2019 when that all happened. And then, so I was good, and I did a competition, NPC Universe show in South Carolina. It's a kind of, for me, I wasn't trying to, I've already, done my shows, but I kind of wanted to do this for myself to see that how I could come back and do a show. So, and I did that, won my class, and that was great. I was really satisfied with that. And that was the first lot of the first part of the roller coasters. And then after that was I think COVID hit, and that was obviously affected everybody. COVID was massive. Where were you? Were you in
we were here.
Dubai during that
we were
time?
here.
I can't imagine what it was like out here.
It was pretty good, actually.
Was all right?
Yeah.
They did a really good job looking after COVID out this way. It actually made me feel more at home here than... we couldn't even fly to Australia at that point, right? Because Australia was all blocked up. So it was like, as much as I love home in Australia, I realised that this place here looked after us more. Yeah. I felt more at home and safe here in the UAE, where they went and got and did everything they possibly needed, than me trying to get back home. I realised, well, I can't, So where were you throughout the whole COVID experience?
I was in LA, in my place up there, which was good. I had a little home gym. I had my house, and the neighbourhood they're all pretty, that was all right. Yeah, cool. Obviously, a lot of places shut down, and some gyms would just put up those. You could go to certain places and figure it out. But it wasn't so bad. Nowhere near as bad as Melbourne and what everyone back home was dealing with.
Exactly. So then, throughout COVID, I mean, so you're training and you're feeling better about yourself, and you felt like you got yourself back.
Yeah, got myself back, and then Kris, it's funny because it's like. I'd been going through this. I started going through these questions. I'm 30 odd years old now, and I've been doing the same thing for a period of time. And I'd kind of been asking myself, like, oh, well, what's next? Because even after I'd done a bodybuilding show or achieved something, whether it be the film or whatever, I'd always ask myself, well, where am I going next? What's the purpose? Where's my goal? And I wasn't really sure. So I figured, I think it's... and I felt like I needed to. I missed, for some reason, I really wanted to just had an urge to go back to Australia and be close to miss my family. COVID, put that distance, that time between us was hard. Everyone's going for a little bit of mental anxiety and unknown and all this sort of stuff. So I made it a point. I was like, I'll come back to Australia, and I knew my little brother was very close with. I knew he was going through some things, but I wasn't clear. I knew he was, he'd had a few kind of setbacks as well with mental health, with his mental health. So I kind of wanted to be closer to him and just be there for him a little bit, be an older brother, because I felt like I'd done everything for myself. I'd sacrificed, for bodybuilding, it can be such a selfish sport. I sacrificed people's parties, birthdays, events, family, just to hone in and focus 100% on myself and my craft and what I had to do. And which was, I look back and sometimes I felt bad. I missed out on these things. But if I hadn't have, I wouldn't have got to where I got to. And now I get to this place. I'm like, okay, now I need to make time for those, important people in my life. So went back and I wanted to be close to my brother Edward. And I did not realize that he'd been diagnosed with bipolar, I think around 2018 or 19. And I don't understand. I didn't know what bipolar really was. I just know that you have these highs of highs and lows. So he'd been going through these things. And to me, he's always going to be my little brother. I love him. I don't care if you're running down the street with your shirt off or whatever.
Yep.
You're my little brother. He loves training, and he looked up to me. He looked up to me so much. He was really proud of me. He was one of my biggest supporters. He was really, and he always wanted to impress and you know, do me proud, like, you know, like I probably would for my older brothers. So, and I'll just get straight into it. But basically, yeah, last year, he took his own life. He died, and it was that. I had a really bad year in 22. I was going through my own personal stuff. I had my battles with drugs and addiction and stuff, which was hard as it was, and I'd just overcome, you know, getting myself on the straight and narrow again. And it's funny that, because, you know, for my whole life I never touched, I had any problems with any, you know, of the drugs, except, you know, PEDs for bodybuilding, but all that other stuff I'd stayed well clear. And then eventually that, it's like the devil, he rears his ugly heads. He's like, here I am. And it's like everyone faces that at some point, those temptations. And anyway, that came to me in my late 20s, and I overcome that. And anyway, and I just, you know, I had my accident and my downfalls from that, but I just overcome that. And I think my brother was, you know,
tipping point. We
were both going through it. And I think when I lost him last year, that was the most painful, mentally painful, and the most challenging and the hardest thing that I've ever had to face in my life. Yeah. I haven't ever been so lost, destroyed, depressed, anxious, and all of it. Just completely. Actually, I'd lost almost the will myself to go on, and I was fighting all of those intrusive thoughts. So that's when my battle, my mental health battle, really began. I thought it was when I was coming out of, you know, rehab and things like that, and it was actually, it was after losing him.
When you lose a loved one, when you lose a brother, when you lose a family member, that's what's expected. And, you know, people don't know how they're going to take it, because you don't experience it. And when you experience it for the first time, you're not sure what's going on. You're trying to get all these feelings. You don't know how to feel. Should you be angry, upset? You start regretting things. Should I have done this? Should I have done that? Exactly. And at the end of the day, you couldn't have changed any other way. And I just want to say, Calum, thank you so much for opening up about it, because you talking about this, and you and I had a conversation before we got on the show. Like, I just wanted to see how much you wanted to talk about, but you talking about this is now helping other people. And for myself, that suffered anxiety and depression many years ago, I use our platform to talk about it, because especially men like us, we're big and men, we don't talk about our health, and we should be always all right. And we, you know, but it's so important that we do this. And, you know, I think your brother would be looking down on you right now, just being in this position, being proud of you, bro. So thank you so much. I just want to say thank you so much for opening up, man. And, you know, dealing with death and dealing with loss it's the hardest thing, man. And you,
like you said, nothing can prepare you for it, and it's the not understanding those emotions and those feelings, and not just the anger, the loss, the confusion, and just trying to process it or accept it. But it's all of these feelings that arise inside of you, and I couldn't understand them. I didn't know how to process them. Didn't know how to deal with them.
Did you get help? Did you go and speak to people?
So that's a good question. So for last year, I was, like I said, I was just in this black hole for a while, for quite a few months, and it got, you know, to a pretty, it almost got to a tipping point where it was like, am I going to continue on, or I'm just going to check out?
Did you have the thoughts of following?
Yeah,
doing
I almost did. Almost put a bullet through my head. So I came pretty close a few times. Really, really.
And how did you talk yourself out of that at that moment? Like, was that a?
I'd been talking myself into it for quite a while.
Sure.
That was fucked. I was actually like kind of planning it for. I was like, I'm gonna I've just had enough. I'd been kind of psyching myself up to do it, and I'll tell you right now, because I looked, and the thing that that kind of got me is because I'd think of my brother so intensely, and I kept going to this place, and I kept thinking, my brother's gone, and I kept thinking that he's just in this black abyss by himself, and I was like, I'd rather trade this world to be with him, so I don't want him to be alone. Anyway, you go through these, you make up these thoughts in your head.
It's beautiful though, man. Like,
I was like, I'd rather be with him than where I am right now, and so I and those intrusive thoughts, I was listening to them, and they started taking root, and I started planning it out, and I was in Australia. I was trying to get my visa organised, and I was like, I'm going to go back to the States, and carrying on telling everyone that I was fine, and I wasn't thinking about it. I was like, I'm going to go.
So you telling everyone around you thought you were
okay.
I mean, obviously dealing with grief, but you're okay.
I'm okay, exactly. But they didn't know that I was, that I was really going down this route. Anyway, I was got to that point, and I called my sister, and I think I called a few people, and they managed to kind of talk me out of it, and
I'm glad you made that call.
Yeah, actually. And after that, I decided, okay, I just need to go out and maybe just be with my family. And I realized that I just needed to be around good people to help me just get out of my thoughts and stuff. So when it comes down to how did I overcome and come and get out of this hole, there's quite a few, I guess there's a few different things. And obviously everyone's going to be different. And with my story, I think a huge role was that I decided at the start of last year that I wasn't going to use any kind of steroids or testosterone. I just wanted to be completely off everything. So no drinking, no drugs, nothing, just water and food. Not even protein shakes, not even supplements. Really.
Yeah.
I was just like, I just want to see if I can just at least come back, because obviously, being a competitive athlete and, using PEDs for, a decade or so, your ability to produce natural testosterone and stuff is shut down. So me in my head thinking, surely I got good genetics, I can recuperate and do it. Well, it didn't work. I just went right down, and I didn't even get blood tests. I just continued on, and that didn't help, I think, with my mood. And
I was going to say, testosterone for a man is very important. It's what regulates a lot of our hormones. It makes us feel good. It makes us feel bright. It gives you the energy to wake up. So when you are lacking that, if you've come off it...
Sleep until 2 p.m.
Yeah, depression kicks in, and that's one of the things that I always talk about older men, like... I'm 43 years old, and as I get older, I think it's very important to check your hormones as a man. We do it for women, but we don't do it for men, and it does regulate a lot of depression. There's a lot of depression in men.
Yeah.
Why is that? There could be a correlation between testosterone and
imbalance.
You get what I mean?
Yeah.
So that drop of your testosterone affected how you were feeling as well, right?
Absolutely. I think that's a good message for a lot of men out there. You don't have to be a professional athlete or anything, but it is a good idea to get regular tests and checkups and get your blood levels done and your panels done to see where your level's at. Make sure that you are at a healthy level, because obviously I took it to an extreme being with my sport and everything, but it's not to say that other people don't have imbalances and stuff. So if that can be a huge factor, which for me it was, and I thought it was just dealing with the loss of my brother, but there was a few factors. And anyway, I decided at the end of last year, a friend of mine said, hey, mate, just get your bloods done. Go and get a test, see where your levels are at. And I had a look, and they were well and truly below the low point of a healthy, normal range. They were below it. And after seeing that, I was like, I don't want to take steroids. I don't want to take testosterone. I don't care about it. I just want to do me and not, do something different. But anyway, I decided to talk to the doctor and get a script and get on TRT, which is testosterone replacement therapy, to help bring my levels back to normal.
Sure.
So, and since doing that, it's helped a lot. It has helped my clarity, my energy, my my mood a lot. It really has made a huge difference. So, and it's even got me back to the gym. Last year I was maybe going once. I think I went like once a month.
Well, right now you look like you're going 5 days, 6 days a week.
I have been going. A month ago, I'll show you a photograph. I literally look like a half-sucked mango, like a.
You look like Rossi. Is that what you're trying to say?
No, really. So.
No, but I'm saying like. Wow, just thank you for being honest, by the way.
Yeah.
Like, because, I think, for pretty, this is
I'm
the
in
first time
tears,
you're hearing
yeah.
sort of Calum's story. I don't think you knew what Calum was about before this.
No.
And just hearing this and seeing like just tearing up
Yeah.
before shows you the power that you're talking to. Not people that know you, by the way. It's not to your fan base that already love you. It's to people that have just met you for the first time and hearing this story.
And I just, everything that you guys said before about as men not being so open about your mental health, what you're saying is just so important. How many times in a day do we say we're okay, but we're not, And it's just, it's so hard for some people to reach out for help. And I'm sure you were stuck in that circle of, I don't need to ask for help. I'll deal with this on my own.
Absolutely.
I'm strong enough to do this. But,
Yeah.
for you to be able to be so open and share that with us, thank you for that message. And I think this will help a lot of people, like you said, Chris.
Yeah. I mean, Rossi and I look like, what are they? Sucked mangoes? What do you call it?
Yeah.
Half-sucked mangoes.
Pulp free.
And from another point of view, like, do you think going, because I know for me, when I was overweight, I was 130 kilos, right? And
I couldn't. Yeah, I would never even be.
I'll show you some photos. You'll be like, what? But
Yeah.
going to the gym is what made me get out of my anxiety and depression.
Right.
So I realized that when I was training or doing any just type of movement, I felt better afterwards.
It's like therapeutic.
It was therapeutic.
working on you.
And I was on, the doctors had given me pills to take, and I realized they weren't really doing anything.
Yeah.
I didn't feel like they were working. It was only when I was at the gym or going for a run or just doing something active that I felt great.
Fantastic.
And I think what you're pushing right now is that message of just making sure that you ask the people around you if you're doing okay, because people can fake it. People can fake.
I'm pretty good at.
And same with me.
Yeah.
I was the guy on the radio telling everyone how good the day was, but deep down inside, things were dark and gloomy.
Yeah.
So I think like just this conversation, I think is so important of like, and not just for men, obviously for women as well, but men have this stigma of not wanting to get that help or thinking it's not cool to get that help, but get that help if you need it, right?
Absolutely. And that was a funny thing that you said as well about going to the doctor or psychiatrist and saying, hey, take this pill, try this. And I did that. I went to one doctor and he said, you're depressed. He just did it without even asking any questions. He's just
Antidepressant.
like, take this. And I took it for like 2 weeks and I was like, no, I'm not doing that. I just don't want to rely on this thing to overcome it. And then again, I went to another and I talked to a psychologist for a little while. That was good, open up and stuff. And then he said, you got to go see a psychiatrist. They prescribed me another lot of pills and stuff, and I didn't take one of them. I tossed. They sat in my car for about a month or two, and then I tossed them in the bin. And I think it was the physical activity.
Yeah,
it's such a huge thing that I didn't even realize the power of, because I'd always used the gym as my place. It was a positive place. I'd go there with a positive mindset. It was a place that I could grow and develop and release those endorphins even more tenfold than what I was already feeling. I was mentally, all good. And then this time around, using the gym as a place is like, okay, it's a place I can rebuild myself, and I can switch off from the worries and dramas of my day and focus on myself, and it's therapy. It really did help a lot, and I would just like to say that, before perhaps if you're going through some stuff, if you're struggling mentally, before going to the doctor and just listening, getting them to cold read you and prescribe you something, maybe try going to the gym with a buddy, getting into routine, getting some physical activity and exercise into your body, because it can really change things.
100%.
You've done it.
I 100% agree. What do you want to do in the future? Have you, not that you have to set any goals, I think you've done enough in your career, but I know you, as in I've only met you, but I think your probably mind is similar to mine, wanting to, okay, what am I going to do next? Have you got anything that you want to maybe tick off?
Well, I think, I think kind of what you're doing. You're reaching out and you're helping other people. That's what I want to help other people with awareness and help.
I'd love to see you on stage doing
Yeah.
talks. I don't know if you've thought
100%.
about that.
Yeah, definitely.
But I think getting on stage and just doing
Yeah, with it, not on my budgie smugglers, but with a mic and help.
Yes.
100% a mic
You know?
with a PowerPoint presentation,
Yeah.
go through your photos and telling your story is so powerful.
Just
right,
like, you know, like one of the biggest men just bearing themselves and, you know, opening your heart up to many people is just, no matter how big you are, you know, you're just a human being,
That's
which
exactly
it's a great message, you know.
Yeah, I
it's
think
good.
there's definitely
For sure.
100%.
Yeah.
I'd pay money to see you on
Yeah.
stage
Oh, thank
having
you.
a chat to me.
Yeah.
With a microphone. So that's one thing that you're thinking about, just helping more people out and getting out there a little bit more.
Yeah. Awareness on the mental health aspect. I think having gone through it now as well. I think starting there, I think it's a great point, and I'd love to be able to, go out and reach and encourage other people to listen and talk about it more. Like you said, it needs to happen. I think.
on you.
Yeah.
And the one thing as well, like, and this is someone that has gone through it, is like, it doesn't completely go away forever.
Right.
You know, it never just disappears and you'll never deal with it again. It sometimes does creep its little ugly head in, but then you've learnt how to deal with that a little bit better because you've had it there before.
Yeah.
And so that for anyone that's going through any type of anxiety or depression, it may creep back just for that moment, but just know that it's not here to stay. You've learnt how to deal with it somewhat, and occasionally it may win a little bit, but don't worry. You'll get it back and you'll be fine afterwards. So that's something that I wanted to share with you, because I know that it's probably more recent than it has with me. I went through my horrible journey 10 years ago. But yeah, occasionally it will come and it will creep in and show its ugly little head, and you know, it does what it does. But you're a true inspiration, and thank you so much for spending the time with us. Man, we could talk for another 4 hours.
Seriously, I know.
I really feel like we could talk for another 4 hours. So I look forward to hanging out, and if anything, friendship continues, man, and I appreciate you, Calum.
Yeah, mate. Thanks very much for giving me the opportunity, Kris, and guys, Rossi and
Pretty.
Thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to speak. It's the first time that I've really felt moved to come and do this. So, and you've made me feel very at home and welcome. So thank you very much. And I'll see you on the gram. I'll be following your story. I'll be following your journey.
I'll try.
And you're killing it, mate. I've got to say, congrats to all your success and everything you've done. I didn't really know you very well from before I met you, but all my brothers and all the boys, they're all followers, and they've been watching your story.
Great.
And so they all say, awesome, keep it up.
Thank you, mate.
Yep.
Let's get in the gym together. I want you to show me a few things.
We're gonna do like a video now. So I've got some budgie smugglers. We're gonna do like side by side
chance.
shots.
No
Is that fine?
chance.
Is it-
Before and after.
No chance. No chance. Actually, you guys could be before and after. Yeah, that's going to be happening.
I wish. Yeah.
Thank you again, brother. God bless.
Thank you, Kris. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, guys.
Virgin Radio.